Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unmanned, AUVSI finds a growing demand for expanded drone operations. DJI Mavic Air 2 is introduced, and AeroVironment will provide Raven Small UAS and training to allied nations. Welcome to Aero-News Network's Airborne-Unmanned, a weekly news program covering all things unmanned, in partnership with AUVSI, the Association for Unmanned Vehicle Systems International. I'm Sophie Herlock. Almost 4 years after the FAA established rules for the commercial operation of UAS, a new report by AUVSI found that nearly 4,000 operators across all 50 states have been granted waivers to go beyond current regulations. First responders across the country received about 20% of all waivers granted to organizations, which demonstrates the growing interest and need for public safety applications enabled by UAS, including search and rescue and firefighting at night. AUVSI analyzed almost 4,000 of these waiver documents granted by the FAA since Part 107 went into effect. While the vast majority of waivers were granted to waive the requirement for flying only during the daytime to enable nighttime operations, the FAA has also granted waivers from other sections of the regulations to permit advanced operations, including flights over people, operation in certain airspace, operating multiple UAS at the same time, and visual line of sight operations. Now let's take a quick look at news making rounds of the unmanned vehicle communities. It's time for today's Unmanned Minute. Virtual Surveyor introduced Slope Threshold Lens in version 7.2 of its popular drone surveying software. The new feature automatically highlights terrain slopes that exceed dangerous safety thresholds. This capability significantly enhances the safety of operations in sand pits, quarries, and other dynamic environments with steep terrains. Last Wednesday, SpaceX launched its 7th StarLink mission as Falcon 9 lifted off from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The Starlink satellite deployed in an elliptical orbit approximately 15 minutes after liftoff, bringing the total number of satellites to 420. Starlink is targeting service in the northern U.S. and Canada in 2020, rapidly expanding to near global coverage of the populated world by 2021. The Drone Racing League has joined the All-In Challenge, a digital fundraiser with the goal of raising money to feed those in need. The league is auctioning off a DRL Racer 4 and a 1-hour drone flying lesson from two-time DRL champion Jordan Temkin, which will be done via the drone simulator and over video chat. If you would like to place your bid, you have 5 days left to do so. As of this morning, the current bid was $3,000. 100% of the money raised will be donated to benefit Meals on Wheels, No Kid Hungry, World Central Kitchen, and Feeding America. AVO successfully tested its cargo delivery UVH-170 unmanned helicopter by having it autonomously make a delivery from a vendor to a destination and back using pre-selected pathways. The flight lasted for 1.7 hours and covered 62 miles. The UAS delivered 17.6 pounds of critical humanitarian aid without having to land or have a ground control station on the receiving side. We'll be right back with the rest of the news. DJI has just introduced the Mavic Air 2, which they call the best all-around drone they've ever made. Mavic Air 2 is the first drone in the Mavic series to offer 4K video at 60 frames per second and 120 megabits per second. Additionally, users can record unique content using HDR video, 4x slow motion in 1080p at 120 frames per second, or 8x slow motion in 1080p at 240 frames per second. The newly added SmartPhoto feature records 12 megapixel photos using advanced scene analysis and deep learning to automatically choose one of the 3 image capture options. Despite weighing only 570 grams, the Mavic 2 features new motors, new electronic speed controllers, and enhanced battery technology to provide a maximum flight time of up to 34 minutes. Mavic Air 2 will be available as either a standard package for $799 or the Fly More option for $988. AeroVironment received a $2.4 million firm fixed-price contract to provide an allied nation with its Raven small UAS and training. Delivery is anticipated for August of this year. With a wingspan of 4.5 feet and weighing in at more than 4.2 pounds, the Raven UAS is designed for rapid deployment and high mobility for operations that require low-altitude intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Capable of providing situational awareness during the day, as well as at night, the hand-launched UAS has an operational range of 6.2 miles. Its Mantis I-23EO-IR gimbaled payload delivers real-time video or infrared imagery to ground control and remote viewing stations. And that wraps up our show for today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and check us out on Twitter and on Facebook. For more information on the innovative world of all things unmanned, head over to AUVSI.org and airborne-unmanned.net. I hope you had a great day, and I'll see you Friday.